That was just the cold open? Oh my God. That was a lot. Hey guys, it's your girl Aisha, aka Geek XX Chic, and Alice in Borderland is back. Guys, we've had quite the hiatus, but we are back with season 3, which I believe I heard the rumor is the final season, which is sad for me, but understandable, especially considering how long these take to produce. But either way, I'm so excited that this show is back. It's one of my favorites. I have watched it since the very first season, and I did not react to it at that time because I was not sure how I was going to feel, but it has been a really, really fun, intellectual, really well put together ride so far. So I'm very much looking forward to this final season and what it's going to bring. So as far as what happened in the last season, I'm not going to lie, it's been a while since I watched it, but the main highlights I do remember is that it looked like everybody went back to the real world, right? There was a final kind of game against who they believed to be the game master, and it seemed like they won. And we ended the show with all of our main characters back in what's, well, at least the ones that were alive at the time, seemed to be back in what seemed like the real world. And they didn't seem to have any recollection whatsoever of the games or what had happened to them. But then we ended the final shot. The ending shot was a Joker card, which is the one card that we've not seen, because this whole series is about, you know, cards and suits. It's the one thing we never saw was the Joker card. So that was kind of our indicator that we were going to get yet another season, but that's pretty much it for the pack, I think, as far as cards go. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that means. Are they really in the real world again? Is it another simulation? So many questions. So that out of the way, let's jump into this episode. Just before I do though, if you'd like to know when I drop episodes, please hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. And if you'd like to watch this reaction uncut, you can do so on my Patreon. All right, that out of the way, let's get into the episode right now. And remember, this was a big storyline because Usagi did not want to go back to the real world because her old life sucked, in her opinion. Good. Oh, yes. This jerk. And yes, the villains wanted to stay because that guy's a serial killer. I remember that. He was in jail, so of course he didn't want to go back. Smiling like an anime villain. Why is he telling his story? So he does have memories. I could have sworn, or maybe he was the only one who remembered. I gotta watch the last episode again. Oh, that's where his memory was erased till. Okay, I was right. Okay. It's the shortest we've seen his hair. Most people don't remember their dreams. Exactly. Let me live in ignorant bliss. Are you trying to get this kid an aneurysm? Why do you want to remember so bad? Who's this guy in the middle? Why is he such an ass? Okay, so this world is trying to figure out what happened to all of them. Why is he so pressed is the question. There it is. Did he lose his ability to walk at that point? So the level of memories looks like it's varying per person? I mean, Lord knows my guy probably don't want to remember nothing. We have a sight. Okay. He's wearing a wedding ring. He's wearing a wedding ring. Did he marry Usagi? Is that your wifey now? Did y'all get married? Bro, let them breathe. Counseling? Damn, she said you are not worthy, bro. Literally send her like an anime villain. My biggest question is whether or not this is actually even the real world. That's the first question you got to ask in a show like this. Or is this another simulation? Oh, they're rebuilding on the site. Thank goodness, Forever 21's coming back. Trying to figure out his deal. So did his student, who I'm assuming was more than just a student, pass away because of the meteor? Rude. They said don't come back uninvited again. Thank you.
本物だって
Real deal how?
ゲーム
We've heard games before.
刺激的ですよ
Oh, she was one of the crazy
とて
ones.
も神聖ですし
What? Are you a game master? Trying to recruit?
1週間後に招待メールが
Okay,
届き
homie
ます
said, listen, I stay in the shapes. The seminar. Look at you getting into the cult, bro. Life's just not peaceful enough, huh? Don't want to just chill and enjoy your life. You'd prefer to go, okay. The only people who liked those games in this show were either mass murderers, wanted to be mass murderers, or complete psychopaths. That's the place. Looking super safe. That thing screams great choices. That's the arrow from inside the game. I need to see if there's any faces I recognize. There's chairs. Why are y'all standing around like this is a ritual sacrifice? What?
こちらにご着席ください。
Right? Like, instead of standing in this weird ass V formation.
着席してください。そこの椅子に。
What's wrong with my chair?
一度座った席からは移動しない方がいい。
Or you try to simulate the games inside of the... Okay.
では始めます。
It's just the way the game is recruiting people to come back in.
ババ抜き。
Like, willingly this time?
ただし、ジョーカーを引かれた時点で、そのプレイヤーは脱落。
Oh. Oh, Jesus! Told you not to get up once you sat down.
嘘だろ？芝居だろ？
Does that look like an act to you? I'm smelling burning flesh. Ah, you see the setup now. No one paid attention, huh? I guess him being in the chairs or not being able to move his lower half might actually be to his benefit in this case. He can't just jump up and run. He can fall off the chair, but you know what I'm saying? Like, impulsivity is discouraged in his position. So look at that. Benefit. Yeah, it's a pair. Don't you dare cry. Y'all wanted this.
2分の1の確率で
They are.
どっちかが死ぬ
That part's 100%. Oh, are you faking him out? Oh, he's telling the truth. And he's gonna think it's psychological. He's trying to help you. He tried to help you, but you psyched yourself out. So, Professor, how are you gonna explain the fact that you were in a game where a bunch of people dropped dead? Who is this?
今はの国へ。
So it isn't the real world. It's not the real world. That was just the cold open? Oh my God. That was a lot. You about to stumble on your daddy? I was wondering if they were going to bring back the storyline of her father. That was never resolved from season 1 or 2. And I don't think he's dead. Please don't step off the cliff or into the mist. Damn it.
大丈夫？
At least he knows about it already.
これ結構好きな色
あげるよ。
やった
What's mine is yours.
先行くね
いってらっしゃい。
行ってきます
I wonder if she fulfilled her dream of working in a supermarket.
警察は集団自殺を図った可能性があると。
I mean, effectively, that's what it was. Because if you knew it was a near-death experience, why would you?
姉妹いまだにフラッシュバックに悩まされてるそうです。
隕石事故のトラウマだね
Meteorite accident. So he's working at a clinic? I like it. So he hasn't used anything about that crazy geometric mind that he's got, the mathematical mind. Oh, okay. No, this is the girl, from in the game.
あと冷たいものとかも。
Does she recognize him?
私あなたに会っ
In
た
a
ことが
completely different timeline. Trying to forget. Bye. Are you seeing what used to be, or was there in the other world?
あるものの中には別の世界を見たというものもいる その世界に希望を見たのか。
Hope for what?
あの世界の記憶があるはず。
Maybe he didn't want them. That was kind of part of the deal. Why is everyone so desperate for Arisu to remember? Let my man be in
あ
peace.
なたは今は忘れているだけ。
Okay. This is the beach. That's what she was seeing.
あの世界は存在してる。
Okay, but why are you coming to me with that? I'm not trying to be a jerk about it. I'm just saying that, like, unless it's something where this world is somehow going to disappear, why not let them live in their bliss? They literally chose this. Although if it's a lie, I understand. Maybe they're saying that, okay, this isn't actually the real world, but oh wow, she's definitely going back to the beach. Yep, there it is. Okay, so Arisu is really the only one who's blocked or has most of his memories gone, but I feel like that's selective.
だから手を尽くして調べてきたの。あの世界に行く方法がないか。
What?
ある薬物を使えば。
Oh, red pill, blue pill again? Is it she wants Arisu because Arisu is one of the only people. That was the girl who was trying to find the edges of the world, right? The scientist. I'm just wondering if she wants Arisu because he's the best at the games and that's why she doesn't want to go back alone. Because why not just leave him? Wait, that was what? Was that a security camera?
Usagi?
Yeah, please complete sentences.
ごめん。
Usagi.
She wants to go back, which would coincide with season 2 because she didn't want to come back to the real world, even though this is nothing like her old real world. But, okay. Well, he's going to definitely go look for her. I don't like this music. You don't know the code? Y'all are married and you don't know the code to your girl's place? Sure, that's common in Japan.
この男性ご存知ですか？
How is he back? She went to talk to him.
今はその可能性よりも
She
本
chose
当に言いづらいですが、
to leave.
この男性と3日
Oh, he's saying she was having an affair. Don't
場所
poke
も
at the
ホテルで
pride.
すし、面識があるというのであれば、
I mean, I guess that's
It's
actually
no-
not the most foregone conclusion. The man is attractive. But also, seriously, Usagi, you couldn't have at least told him you were leaving? Like, I guess she knew he'd talk him out of it. Or he'd talk her out of it, but... He's doing research on your wife. Is that why she wants to go back? She thinks her dad's there? Coincidentally, this drive that's right here. He did interview her! And she never told you!
もしかしてお父様とうまくお別れできなかったり
That is
何か後
true.
悔されていることがあるのでは
Both.
誰に
Okay.
も聞いてもらえない話だから
Not even your man!
言いたくない。
Okay. We need to dig into that a little bit.
ずっと父のことが引っかかってて、
How are those two things related?
はっきりと感じられるんです。
Like he was in that other world, maybe?
私は悪夢の中にでも身を置きたいんです。
You need to be with him. Huh? Satan is coming towards you, sir. Other direction would be great. I swear I saw a shadow moving.
あの美しい世界に君も戻ってこないか。
It's the murderer.
ゲーム開始だ。
Why does it all come back to him?
君の大切な彼女も参加することになったよ。
And now we know why he's gonna
ゲー
go.
ムに
Anything for Usagi. Why do they want Arisu back so bad? But I guess he is one of the more interesting participants, right?
激しく争ったり抵抗した後などはないのですが、
She did the near-death
一
experience.
緒にいた男から何らかの薬物を飲ま
Oh,
せ
the girl talked about the drug.
血液検査で奥様に妊娠が認められました。
I had a feeling she was pregnant.
奥様もご存知ないかもしれません。
Clearly not. I don't know if that would have changed her choice, though, to be perfectly honest. Something told me she was pregnant. There had to be stakes this season outside of just the two of them.
一緒に倒れていたのはこちらの男性です。確
Troublemaker.
認してもらえますか。
Mm-hmm. Now, don't pull the don't pull the tubes out. I know it's tempting, but she went willingly.
男の職場である大学に連れ去られ、
Did the
そして
interview.
その後 発見された
Okay, so that's when she did the
共に
interview.
足を運んでいます。
Because I was like, when did she do that?
だから言ったじゃないですか。だから俺あの時言ったじゃないですか。
確たる証拠がないまま動くことはできません。
That is the way it is in pretty much every country, bro. Gotta wait for something bad to happen before the authorities do anything. It just hit me that we never found out what happened to Arasu's family, like his dad and brother. Were they part of the game?
そのジョーカーのカード、実は松山という男性も持っていたんです。
Yeah, maybe I won't show them that I have one too before they arrest my ass. Maybe it is better you be quiet about this one, Arasu.
俺自身バカバカしいって思ってる。
No, she came to you with the same story.
妻を生還させる方法があるなら何だっていい。教えてくれ。
Gotcha.
2分
Hmm?
心肺停止に陥ってから死が確定するまでのその2分間、人は共同意識の中に入るんだと思う。
Hmm.
2分以内に彼女を連れ戻せれば
Two.
生還できるかもしれない。
But how do we even find her? That world was vast.
2分以内。
Like two real minutes or?
私たちが心肺停止を体験した時間は、
Oh, that's what's happening in this world. Okay.
それは一瞬だけど、永遠の戦いかもしれない。
Okay.
そう信じたからここに来たんじゃ
I'm
ない。
right. You wouldn't be here if you didn't believe it was.
生きて帰ってこれる保証もない。
もし帰
Interesting.
ってこれなかったら
Then you die.
死んでも構わない。 ウサギを救える可能性があるならそっちを選びたい。
But Usagi didn't even care about you, bro. Respectfully. She's got the drug. Damn, a sanatorium should be checking things a lot better than this. Everybody fired.
あなたの心肺を停止させる。
Yeah, enough insulin will kill you.
人的に
Especially if you're
心
not
配は
diabetic.
2分。
Okay, you just said he has no concept of time in there. You think he's gonna know what 2 minutes are, bro? And he's in this room that no one's gonna check on him in.
早くしないと時間が。
I'm pretty sure if she's at the hospital, they'll bring her back.
時計が止まっ
Oh, you're already there. Welcome. 15 kilometers? That's far. Get a car, bro, unless you got really good cardio. And when is sundown? What time is it? Are we in the summer? Are we in the winter time? Okay, it's Japan. If it was winter, there'd be snow. But you know what I'm saying. Like, how long is sundown?
ウサギ。
Babe, I only have 2 minutes. 6K? It's a temple. Okay, maybe this won't be so terrible, right? It's a house of God, of a god, many gods, I don't know. Why y'all looking at me, bro? I'm not the game I guess you're the last participant. They was waiting for you. Carnival of Horror? Fox Mask.
氷川神社にて新たなチームが結成されました。
Team.
ゲームを開始します。
And here we go again. Okay, I have some theories that are brewing around in my head. It was actually starting to formulate when I was watching, so I had to like fight to focus on the last few minutes because my brain was kind of going at the same time. All right, I think I've got what they're trying to say here. As I've been saying throughout the episode, and even when I was watching previous seasons, I was like, is this a real world? Like, what is this, right? Arisu asked that question all last season. What is this place? How does it work? You know, is there some big game master who's puppeteering everybody? What is happening? And I think we finally got potentially the explanation here. It sounds like the meteor event was true. That did happen. That was the real world. A meteor crashed, and unfortunately, and we saw this in the last episode of last season, I remember now. But I mean, again, I didn't know what to really believe with all of that. But if we're to believe what happened between episode 8 of season 2 and this one, the meteor was real. Unfortunately, his best friends died on impact, right? What was his name? I can't remember their names right now, but yes, Adasu's 2 friends died on impact. There was no but even though it said the heart stopped for 2 minutes, I think the reason, actually, no, they didn't die on impact. They died shortly after. But all that to say, the meteor event happened, but the meteor, something about the meteor created this ability for them all to enter a collective consciousness when all the people who died or almost died at that site were, basically when they had that shared experience, they entered a shared collective consciousness, hence the game world. Right now, that still doesn't explain why some things were, further along as far as like, do you remember like in season 1, there were some places where the food was fresh, but other places where it looked like the food had been decomposing for a long time. Like that stuff still hasn't been explained. But based on what we're getting here and based on what Anne was saying, everybody that at least they came in contact with, we're going to use Arisu's world because we have to, they died that day. And they were dead for, well, their heart stopped for at least 2 minutes. That's the sounds of things. But the people who survived were either people who came back after that or people who were revived, right? So like she said, the time is different in that world. So even though it was only 2 minutes on the outside world, in there, time varied based on how long they basically either were that 2 minutes that they were between life and death, like permanent death, and the people who got revived or came back. So whatever the shared consciousness is, those games to me were potentially, every time a game went through, is my guess, is you see how they're in comas right now? Everybody was in a coma, or a good chunk of them were in comas after this. And every game was like potentially their heart stopping. And if they survived the game, resuscitation worked. If they didn't survive the game, resuscitation didn't work. You get what I'm trying to say? Like, I feel like that's what happened, right? And so basically all of season 1 and 2 was various times or various lengths of people being in a coma after this event. And again, whatever this meteor did, it allowed them all to be part of this shared consciousness. Now, why it's games, why that's the way it formulated itself as the way to continue to survive or not survive, that is a question. But my question, so let's come back. So that's kind of my theory, right? That's my theory as to what this world is. The real world, this is what we're seeing in the first half of this episode, that actually was the real world. Where the other world was that consciousness plane, let's call it that Anne described. It was between life and death, shared consciousness, and it's because people, either their heart stopped or almost stopped. And that's how they got there. So, however, whatever happened last season, Arisu was the key. Somehow, Arisu figured out a way out of the collective unconscious or collective consciousness, whichever way you want to put it. He was the one who, when he defeated whoever that woman was, who, was supposed to be like the ultimate game master, he found like the big fat key for everybody to be able to choose to either stay in the shared collective consciousness or exit it, aka wake up, come out of the coma. And we see that different people had reasons to opt in or out of that, right? Arisu and Usagi both decided to leave. We saw the other people, like the businessman that was in trouble and the criminal, the mass murderer, they both chose to stay for obvious reasons. Now, my guess is because Arisu did that, he somehow became a linchpin to that world. And with his departure, I'm thinking that the world is falling apart. And that would be why, because I remember the whole episode I kept asking, why is everyone after Arisu in particular? Like, Arisu has the least amount of memory from the sounds of things. Everybody else is having nightmares or some type of recollection or recall of that place. But Arisu, outside of from the sounds of things, very vague memory, he has no recollection of it. And I kept saying throughout the episode, and I maintain, that was by choice, right? That place was awful for him. He lost his friends. He experienced so much trauma. Like, it wasn't a good place for him. He wanted to get out as soon as he possibly could. Whereas with the other people, like I said that in the episode as well, Usagi said early in season 2, that she didn't want to leave that world because in the real world, she had to go back to her mourning, her father being gone, the people judging her, etc. So he might have been one of the few people who genuinely wanted out of that world and never wanted to go back. So maybe that is why he was able to purge those memories, or at least block them, I should say, in a sense that he wasn't thinking of them. But we saw that as soon as the murderer gave him the card, a chunk of the day that he went into the world came back to him, and a little bit of some of the other memories. So all that to say that I think that somehow Arisu, as I said, is the linchpin of this world. And the fact that he left and he's like forgetting about it. Oh my God, it just hit me. What if he actually is the world creator? Maybe he created the collective consciousness somehow. Because all those games were all kind of suited to Arisu in some way or another, outside of like the ones that are straight up dead. Anyways, if that was the case, then him not being in it would cause the world to fall apart. And there would be a vested interest in people who chose to stay in that world, trying to get him to come back and basically keep it going. I'm really just spitting right now, and this is episode 1. probably doing too much. But that's where my mind is going right now. Anyway, but I'm going to wrap it up because it is only episode 1. Let's not go too far. But that's my thought process, is that world is between life and death, like Anne said. Everything that happened at the end of episode or season 2 was real. Arisu, everybody else that was there were people who were affected, or maybe not just the meteor, but maybe just people who died that day all ended up in that world. And maybe that's potentially why the timelines were off. Anyway, so all that to say, so that's what I think is going on. Done. As for this episode, the stuff that we do know happened. Arisu marrying Usagi, great. Like, that was very much where they were leading since season 1. And it looks like they're living this good life. Like I said, for Arisu and Usagi, it seems like their lives are pretty good. But for Usagi, she's being plagued by her dad's memory. And in season 2 actually, because season 2 is really where they went into, where she talked about what happened with her father and why she didn't want to go back to the real world. I remember thinking, watching it the first time, that I don't think Usagi's dad is dead, because there's no body, he just disappeared. And then the fact that she specifically said my dad was like a practiced, well-known, renowned mountaineer, and he disappeared on one of the weakest mountains in Japan, like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, it wouldn't be for lack of skill, right? Like, he had the ability to do a mountain like that, no problem. So like she said, he scaled Everest, I think I remember her saying. So there's no way this mountain that he went to would have been enough to do him in. So she's like, the only other explanation is that he took his own life, but she's like, I just don't think he would have done that. But if he did, like, why would he do it, kind of thing. So anyway, all that, and remember there was some kind of a scandal that he was a part of right before he went on that trip. So all that to say that I was like, I don't think her dad is dead, because they're dropping pretty fat anvils that he probably didn't die that day, that sadly he just chose to leave. I always think it's very selfish to take off like that, but in his mind, he might have thought in order to protect Usagi, he would just leave and hopefully the shame would go with him. That's not what happened, obviously, but I think that's what might have happened. But either way, we heard Usagi say in this episode that she feels her dad's presence, even though he's been supposedly gone for years, and she just feels like she needs him, or she needs to find him. So that is why when she started to have the memories, especially when she went back to what was in the game in season 1/season 2 as the what was it called, the hotel, not the hotel, what they call it, the beach. Yeah, I think they called it the beach. Anyway, we saw that a bunch of the more traumatic memories came back in that moment, and that's what I think what was her pushing, not the word, that was kind of her breaking point, as far as like, I can't keep pretending that everything's okay in this world anymore until I figure out what happened and reconcile what I'm remembering and what I'm feeling versus what's happening right now. So we see that she went and she talked to this professor who we discussed. This is a new character, by the way, the professor. What's his name? Ryuji. Ryuji, he lost a student, they said, on the day of the meteor. And since then, he's been obsessed with these people who said that they've had this collective dream of, a land far away, the death games, etc. So anyways, I think he believes that his student is still reachable in this other world. Feels a bit like transference from grief, but either way, he's not completely wrong here. And we see that he's obsessed, particularly, again, with, Usagi afterwards, but mostly with Arisu, because Arisu is, out of all the people who are part of that phenomenon, he's the only one who doesn't remember anything or doesn't even have anything close. So which is why he kept pushing, as we saw in that first interview, to see if maybe he was hiding something or something just wasn't there yet. But either way, he's figured out there's a common thread here and it can't be a coincidence. So anyway, we see that because of this, what would you call it, obsession that he's got going on with that, he was able to kind of bring Usagi in, because Usagi, of course, like I said, is trying to reconcile what's going on between her memories and how she feels this presence of her father versus what she's living right now, which kind of feels like, I'm getting the sense she kind of feels like it's not real, like it's a lie. And we see that unfortunately she did whatever she had to get back to that world. And we saw that in that confession that she did, which is super sad for Arisu, that she said, like, I can't tell him this because, again, I said in the episode that it was a bit selfish, and I agree, and it's a bit sad. Like, that's your husband, and you can't tell him that you would rather potentially take your own life to go back to a place where your dad might be than live in this world because you miss him that much. Like, that's kind of rough, girl. Like, I get it in the sense of, like I said, I do think she didn't tell him because she didn't want to be stopped. But at the same time, like, give him an opportunity to move on, or, but I guess truthfully, Arisu wouldn't have, right? Arisu, just like in season 2, when she told him she didn't want to go back to the real world because even though this one sucked, at least it wasn't in her mind, it wasn't as bad as that world. He didn't really listen to her, right? He kept the whole rest of the season, he kept trying to convince her that the other world was better. But yeah, I think that's the main reason why she decided that, I'm going to go for this because Arasu's never going to go for it. And she's not wrong. Arasu would have probably done everything in his power, including putting her in that sanitarium to keep her from doing what she did. So, and again, now we find out I don't know why this episode, like, something tells me she's pregnant. And the reason I say this is because in Asian culture, they really love to tie dreams with pregnancy. Like when women apparently have like really out there dreams, they often say that it's a correlation to finding out that you're pregnant, or someone's trying to tell you you're pregnant. So it was kind of a loose thought in my mind, but turns out maybe they were trying to make that connection. But either way, I know that they needed stakes this season, because Arasu to go back to that world just for going back's sake would not be enough, because he went through a lot. But now that obviously Usagi would have been enough, but an unborn child is a huge deal, right? And that's a person who didn't decide to be part of all of this. And like the doctor said, because she's so early in the pregnancy, she probably had no idea. And I do think that if she knew, I said in the episode, I don't know if it would change her mind. I think it would. I don't think she'd dare want to put a kid through this, but I think it would have been a situation that as soon as the baby was born, she would do it. You know what I'm saying? Like that kind of thing. But anyway, so now the stakes are up, and Arasu, like that gives us really good stakes for this final season, that he's got to bring her back. He's got to bring her back for the sake, because it's not just her life on the line, it's the baby's as well. And so that's going to put way more urgency into him to make sure he does whatever he needs to do to not only beat the games this time, but my guess is that he's got to shut down this world, like for real. Because again, why is it so important that Arasu comes back? We saw that the murderer, when he came back and gave him the Joker card, he said, it all comes back to you, so you've got to return. Like that's something along those lines. So this is why I feel like he must be a linchpin to this world, a very important one. Otherwise, why are they so obsessed with him coming back when there's clearly other people who are willing to go back, who want to go back, right? So anyway, that's where we're kind of at now, is that Arasu, of course, when he realized that his wife had chased this down and this is what she was so desperate to return to, he had to go back, right? That was it. There was no ifs, ands, or buts for him, because that's all he's got left, right? I don't know if he has any recollection of his parents or his brother, because I mean, we really haven't talked about them. I don't think Arasu's daughter talked about them since season 1 or 2, but point is, he's got no one else left in this world from the looks of things. So that's his whole world. Usagi is his world. That baby is now his world. So yeah, as I said, no question that he was going to go back and do what he needs to do to bring her back, if he can bring her back, because now it's a choice. But if she doesn't know she's pregnant, that's pretty good incentive, I would say, assuming she wants to be a mom. But yeah, that was a pretty interesting start. Like that was a lot of information to take in, but I think my theory might be right. We'll have to see. Keep watching to find out if I'm right, or if I'm just completely off and this really is just a endless loop of a simulation that they keep going through. But I can't think that's the case, because we're in the final season. We need to find a way to kind of bookend this. So yeah, I enjoyed it. Again, very good episode. I enjoy this show a lot. Can't wait to keep digging into the finer details and seeing what fresh hell they have with these games, because the first one with the old maid was already like, okay, we're jumping right in. So yeah, looking forward to the next episodes. Hope you guys enjoyed watching along with me. If you did, please show some love, and I'll see you in the next one.